Cool.
Excellent.
Everybody, welcome to the Knife Knox staff. Or wait, what is this? Key staff meeting?
Key staff.
That's funny. That's
Yeah,
funny.
this is key stuff.
Everybody, welcome to the key staff meeting. It's really exciting to just be where we're at right now. It's been really cool that our staff is doing big things. We've been consistent in the sales, and I feel like we're going to be exactly where we need to be come summertime if we keep doing the work that we're doing. So, really been enjoying the key staff meetings. I really like pouring in. And I feel like this has been a really good opportunity for us just to be able to have that extra time to be able to build the skills needed for us to go next level when it comes to summertime. So the quote for today, actually no, we'll do it at the mission statement. We'll do it at the mission statement. The quote for today is focus on key relationships and the sales will come naturally. Focus on the sales and you'll have transactional relationships. So what do y'all think that quote means? Not everybody at once.
I would wait for them to answer.
Can you repeat it? It kind of like cut out a couple times.
Yeah. Am I sharing the right slides? Am I on screen share?
Mine,
Yeah.
mine's not. Oh, there it is. Mine popped up now.
Oh, got you. Cool. So again, focus on key relationships. The sales come naturally. Focus on sales. You'll have transactional relationships. What do y'all think that means?
It's
People
kind of
sell to people they know.
Carter, I heard you. What'd you say?
People buy from people they know
Okay.
when it comes
Elaborate
to,
on that idea.
because at least to us, I know to our customers, our products can somewhat be a little pricey, and people usually want to buy from someone that they can personally connect with,
Okay.
because
I
they
like
could
that.
buy it literally online, but they would rather buy from you because one, it helps you out, and two, they like having that personal connection with a sales rep than just buying it online.
Okay. So building a relationship so they'd rather buy from you than just going online, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Who else has an idea about it?
That's pretty much what I was gonna say. That you don't want to be a stranger when talking to a customer, because building a relationship makes it easier on them to actually purchase the product.
I love that. Olivia, all right, Jed, let's go.
I know that one of my customers just texted me a picture of what he opened in the mail, like the receipt information, and he said, "What do we do with this?" And then he followed it up with, "Can we put it in the dishwasher?" Like I know I covered all of that, but yeah, I mean, I maintained that. I answered very, exactly like he would like it. And then I said, let me know if you have any other questions. So I feel like that's kind of what you're talking about.
Right. Not letting a relationship just be transactional. Hey, you bought knives. Now you never talk to him again. Olivia, what are your thoughts?
The more personal the relationship is, the better. Like, you trust me, so you're more comfortable around me. You're gonna keep coming back for more, basically, instead of
Alright.
focusing on selling you a knife and never seeing you again.
Right. And you think about like when you buy a TV or you buy an Xbox or PlayStation or you buy your iPhone, right? Like, is the Verizon salesperson like following up with you saying like, "Hey, how's your iPhone?"
No.
No. Right? Jacob, what do you think?
I guess when just making an actual relationship out of it, just to where if there's ever a problem with an order or something goes wrong, I've had multiple customers text me after and they're like, "Hey, so just want to make sure this is Chip. What do I need to do?" I was like, "Hey, I'll send it back for you."
Right.
And then they'll always keep coming back to, "Oh, I want to buy this now," or "Hey, so how much would this be? And I'm actually going to see family this weekend. I'll recommend you to a couple people because I love the stuff that you guys have and I like it."
Amen.
And
Right.
so you just keep the relationships, it's gonna create your business. All you need to do is be a person,
Yeah. All right. Be a person first.
not a salesman.
I have two stories. All right. Both of them happened today. Okay. First was a gentleman I met at the Chattanooga Boat Show. Found out he's from Knoxville. And I was like, or actually, no, it was Dogwood Home Show. Dogwood Home Show. And he was the neighbor booth across from us. And so the entire weekend, we got to know each other a little bit, kind of hang out, right? We obviously have business gifts that we can help people with. but they sell lighting for houses. And like in my brain, I'm instantly like, okay, here's like the sales approach to what I could say to be like, all right, cool. So you give houses, you're spending 5 to 20 grand per like housing that you light up. All right, cool. Like you definitely have wiggle room to be able to give them a quality gifts. And that is never the right way to go. It's just, I call it the pounce approach. You don't just pounce on, okay, here's where I could sell them. Let me try to sell them. Right. And so I was like, hey, man, dude, you're awesome. I would love just to grab lunch with you, be able to catch up, get to know each other outside of this place. And then from there, like, see if there's anything that we could do together. But like, at the end of the day, I really just want to focus on getting to know you a little bit. Right. And so we went to Blaze Pizza today. We were there for probably like an hour and a half, right? Just literally talking, right? And I was telling Jacob about this earlier. I may have spoke for like 5 to 10 minutes outside of like the 10 minutes that it was like, here's what I do, right? And as we were talking and building rapport, he even like called me on it. He's like, dude, that like you're smooth. Like you're really good. Like this is the proper way to do it. You ask good questions and all of a sudden now there is a solution you can provide. And so we ended up talking about business gifts. It'll be a starting order probably around $2,000 to $2,500. And then they actually do enough business to where like it can be a 10 grand reorder every single year after we get the first ones like done out the way. Right. So when I was talking to Raymond Knuckles, he was talking about his new, position that he's in working, and he started doing cold calls. And he's like, dude, I think I've like actually found a cold calling script that works. And I was like, all right, let me hear it. Right. Like, let's see what you got. He's like, hey, Jacob, this is Raymond Knuckles, dude. I've been meeting with like business owners around town, and like your name just keeps coming up as somebody that's awesome, that's really crushing the game. I just wanted to reach out to be able to connect with you, grab time on like Wednesday or Friday to be able to get like, just pick your brain a little bit. And the natural response is always like, well, thanks, but like, what do you do? And his response is always, well, man, like, here's the thing, like, I don't even know if what I do like would apply to you or be something that you're even interested in. And like, I really just love the chance to get to meet you. Right. So does Wednesday or Friday work better for you? And so because he brings so much energy and the excitement of like being proud of who this person is and like just wanting to connect with them and build the relationship first, they don't even have a guard because they don't even know what Raymond does. Does that make sense? And so it's the same approach for your demo. When you're focused on your demo, you might find somebody that doesn't cook at all, right? Who's had a demo where like the person doesn't even cook, like they eat out all the time, they travel all the time. So are we doing them justice by selling them Cutco? I mean, some say yes, some say no, right? We could totally, again, framing the sales approach. Hey, well, dude, like imagine if you had a good set of knives and you enjoyed cooking again. But like for the person that's truly like the bachelor right now, where truly like they just travel all the time, they don't cook, like they don't need a good knife set, it's more key to focus on the relationship. Because if that person is like a top producer and they're crushing the game, maybe they're not the right fit for you. Maybe we're not the right fit for them. But I guarantee you that person knows 10 to 20 people that are the right fit for you. So if you focused on building that relationship first, all of a sudden, like Olivia, you're awesome. I had a great time on this appointment. Like, yeah, I don't really need knives right now. Like you did great on your presentation though. I don't even feel like you pressured me. You just asked like what works best for me. But like, I know some people that would be great for you. Who's ever heard that statement on an appointment, whether they bought or not? Hey, I know somebody you need to meet. Hey, I know somebody that'd be great for you. Right. And so this is what happens when you focus on building key relationships first. If you're spending your time with people that could afford Cutco, focusing on that relationship and actually building the relationship, they're going to buy or they're not going to buy, but they're definitely going to like you. And if they like you, you're going to more than likely make a sale and you're going to get referrals. But if you're focused solely on the sales, there are people that literally buy stuff from somebody just so they stop talking. And that's mind blowing to me. That instead of just saying no, they're like, you know what? Shoot, I'll buy that one knife. Like, cool, get out of my house. Okay. And so this is why I wanted to do this today, because this happened twice. Second appointment was a customer that's been a customer of mine for like probably 7 years now, going back to 2018 when I first started doing shows and events. I remember going to this lady's house. She had 2 other old ladies over. We had fun. They cooked. Each of them bought like 1 or 2 knives. Like it was a super small sale, but it was really fun. And like I've kept this relationship alive over time. Well, she sends me a text last week saying, hey, Brandon, my grandson's getting married in May. I actually need to get a homemaker set for him. And she specifically asked for a homemaker set. And so I finally got caught up with her today, had a great call. Hey, my hands are dirty. I have dough. I'm like, because like you have like a bunch of money in your hands right now, or like you're baking something. And she instantly just dies laughing, right? Because again, we have the rapport, we have that relationship. She's like, no, we're making sourdough, right? And literally within 7-minute call, placing an order for a homemaker set. So if you build the relationships first, the sales will come. But if you're only focused on sales, you will have transactional customers that don't like actually regard you as their point person for when they need a good gift, if they need to add to their Cutco. Because as I believe it was Carter that said it, they can just go online and buy it. All right. So for today's agenda, I'm going to teach the intro section of the PR call and just start talking about it, especially as a lot of us are going to be taking management roles over the course of the summertime. These are things that we need to start building now. The spring is the time to grow. The summer is the time to execute. And so I want to make sure that we're actually getting time to be able to cover the PR script, PR approach. What does tonality look like? What's the pacing look like? And what makes a good PR call? From there, I want to talk about cooking rapport, because this goes hand in hand with having a great demo. It's the difference between being a consultant or being a salesperson. And if you're coming across as a consultant of the kitchen for all of your customers, they're going to enjoy the demos with you and they're going to buy from you. Virtual appointments, how to make them more fun, right? Who in here has been doing a lot of virtual appointments? Yeah, right. Who in here is like, oh man, like I much rather would just go in person because they're just more fun. Yeah, right. So for those that are doing virtual appointments or even in person, I'm going to give you some tips to be able to improve your demo, make it more fun. And we're going to learn how to personalize the slides a little bit today too. So you're going to enjoy that section. Today is going to be a working key staff meeting. So our mission, we're from the 865 Knife Knox. We're going to do $1 million in sales this year.
Damn.
All right. And again, it's not going to happen just by dreaming about the number. All right. It's going to happen through the development of great people, being able to control your performance on a week-to-week basis, right? Consistent effort. And like, we're going to have a ton of fun doing it. Jed's been working on a team night out. And I think we're going to Token Game Tavern for the next one. So I think we're going to try to do that either on spring break if people are going to be in town, or we'll plan that for a week where it's like, hey, it's a little bit lighter. We just finished some like exams. Everybody, let's drive down. Let's have a good night and then drive back up to school on that Friday if you have to. But use the team, lead and be a leader on the team and just be great at everything you do. Right. And that comes with consistent practice. I was listening to Alex Hermosi earlier, and one thing that he kept saying was like, better is not sexy. Like actually getting better at what you do is not a sexy process. It's a lot of role play every single day. It's actually doing a lot of reps, working with customers, working in interviews, making PR calls, making personal phone calls for demos, right? And the more that you do that, the better you get at the job, okay? So our key staff, some people have sent me updated pictures. That said, Jacob, I don't think yours is updated yet. Olivia, I got yours like 30 minutes before key staff, so thank you. So send me your pictures so I can update the old ladies on our key staff. But
For sure sent you mine.
yeah, I got yours.
What should we send you? What should we send you that picture on?
Just one that looks good, right? One that you're like, okay, cool. He's gonna show it on key staff every week and on YouTube, so like it might as well look good. So
But
Anna
what are
Morris,
we just
what was
on?
that?
What's that?
What was that, Carter?
On just through our key staff, or not our key staff, but our office line.
Yeah, just send it to the office line. I can literally drag and copy it over.
Sounds good.
So up first, we have Anna Morris, 10,159 CPO. She is at her other position tonight. So Anna, 24 hours, get me this recording with your notes. Ben Lorton, he is running a little bit late from work, but he'll be here soon. 3598 CPO. Carter Sprouse, 5816 CPO. Jacob Franklin, 53936, leading the troop. Keep it up. Oh, he said, Brandon, you need to change your slides. They're out of date. All right. He sold a couple more knives. He said he's at 56K now. Jed Bull, I definitely think you're a little bit closer to 9K now, so I'll update that. Here at Thatcher, we have Manny Leslie,
Right, I'm
2649.
almost at 10K. I'm not almost at 9K. Just had to get it right. Just
Okay, all right. So that's it. We'll make sure that next week we have all these up to date. Manny Leslie, snowboarding, same thing, man. 24 hours, get me your notes. 2649. Molly Brinkman, 2413. Olivia McClintock, 9527. And then we got two people that I'm looking at adding to key staff for this next week. So this slide's gonna get a little bit closer together. Y'all gonna have a little bit of elbow space between your pictures, but it's gonna be really cool to see it grow. So I wanted to start with the opportunities. Again, being on key staff first off, it is earned, it's not given. So if you're not doing the work to stay on key staff, if you're not going to be a manager this summer, like we're going to have conversations this week about you staying on key staff. So make sure that you get on the board this week. Again, ideally 750 CPO puts you on the newsletter. And I talk about this every single week because if you're selling 750 a week, you're making a good paycheck, right? And it really just takes like 3 to 5 demos. It doesn't take a lot. Okay. So with assistant manager, these are the building blocks of the office. It's learning interview skills, learning how to book people for interviews, and how to take your sales to the next level. It's one thing to learn. It's another thing to teach. And when you start teaching other representatives, this is one thing Jed's gotten really good at is he's been taking PDI and helping us with the office line. And like, he's getting really, really good at his scripts and really good at the job, right? So assistant manager is the first level to be able to grow yourself in the business. You start earning equity on the office and you get 2 paychecks. You get your personal sales and you get your assistant manager pay as well. For branch manager, shout out to Olivia. She's having a call with Parker today to open up her own branch office like Jacob did this past summer. And being a branch manager is getting $8,500 from the company, $6,000 cash, and then $2,500 in what's called mailer support, where we send out letters in the mail for people to apply at the beginning of summertime to help start the boost in the business. District manager is what Jacob and I do. Jacob is officially going to get his, actually, you were promoted to district manager in January at VMAs, right? So really excited to watch you go out and crush your own office, but he is his own boss. I am my own boss. What's really cool is if there's a day that I say, I don't want to show up, I'm not feeling right, which I don't do, right? Unless I'm like dying. But when it comes down to it, I could literally say, you know what, Jed, I need you to show up today and run the interview. Alyssa, Audrey, like y'all need to crush recruiting. Hey, Kate, hey, here's what I need you to get done today, right? I could totally do that because I am the boss. That said, I want to lead. I don't just want to be a boss, all right? I want to show y'all how to do it, not just tell you what to do. And then being a Cutco sales professional is just learning and mastering all levels of the business, learning how to be a great events rep at the booth, learning how to crush service calls and personal demos, right? Selling a homemaker set in 7 minutes, it's pretty cool to do, right? The booth is amazing to be able to really grow yourself and sell. You get that through being a Cutco sales professional. It's actually a good route to hit Cutco sales professional because being a Cutco sales professional is $60K, 2 years back to back. And what's really cool, some of the people on this key staff are going to do that this year. And so you'll actually be a candidate next year. And then after you do that for, again, $60K in 2026, you'll be officially minted as a CSP. And I think my favorite part of CSP is they send you a 7-inch Santoku engraved Cutco sales professional. Congratulations, Jed Bull. And it has like your year that you've been inducted and everything on it. It's a really cool trophy. I do not use mine. It literally just sits in my office. So those are the opportunities. Keep growing, keep learning, because like we have roles for you. By next year, 2026, we want to put out 2 more district managers and another 6 branch managers as a division. So if those excite you, again, communicate. Let me know what you want to do, and we can talk about that. So when it comes to PR calling, who has made a PR call before? Who has actually called somebody, scheduled them for an interview? We have Jed, we have Olivia, we have Jacob. Very cool, right? Jacob's been crushing. He has probably the best show percentage that I've seen in a minute as a sales manager. So recognition there. Shout out to Jed. Yesterday, he made his like first debut of really crushing PR calling, and he scheduled 5 people, 4 of them same day.
So he scheduled 7 people for same day for a show.
7 people total, 4 same day, and all 4 of them showed. So a little round of applause for Mr. Bull. That's awesome, man. Really proud to see that continue to grow and develop. Just keep up the good work. Like really proud of where you're at. And I feel like there's going to be even bigger things to come. So when it comes to PR calling, everybody, let's get these notes ready. Let me get a good old SpongeBob.
I'm ready.
Jed's like, I'll give you a thumbs up. Cameron, you were going to do it, bro. You were totally going to do it. Oh, man. Carter, you ready?
What's up, Ben?
Mr. Ben Lorton in the building. Olivia, you ready? All right. So first thing when it comes to PR calling, the mindset, my belief, my job, my role is that we want everyone to know about the opportunities that exist here. All right. It's never the goal to have everyone sell Cutco. That would be amazing. But this job is not for everybody. Not everybody's going to want to give it the chance. Not everybody even is comfortable talking to people one-on-one, right? But I believe that having a big presence and letting everybody know allows us to find the right people. And so when we're calling and doing PR calls, the focus is completing the list. We're going to get answers. We're going to get no answers. We're going to get people that say, yeah, no, I'm not interested. We're going to get people that we set for interviews. And so when it comes to it, it's not a focus of like, oh my goodness, I scheduled this many on the list. It's, did you finish the list? Right? Last week we talked about when you're making your demo calls, having a set call goal. Who this week, maybe you didn't hit your goal for what you wanted to set on your calls, but who felt more like resolution, more peace with the fact of like, hey, at least I made the calls I said I was going to make.
I feel less peace when I do not schedule demos, just to be clear. But, you know, I did make the calls.
Amen, right? You got that competitive nature about you to do a little bit better. I know Cameron was making calls. What was it this morning?
It was this afternoon after school, at like 4 or 5.
Very cool. And how did it feel to actually just say, all right, cool, I made the calls?
It felt good. I don't like calling, so when I actually follow through with it, I feel pretty good about it.
Amen, right? And that's the whole
Yeah.
purpose of making PR calls. I have Audrey in here making calls right now. She's booking up PRs. Like she's doing the job. She's just focused on the list. Some answer, some don't. All right. 2 to 3 set per hour is what we want for activity. So when it comes to like really making sure that we're productive with our time, it's setting 2 to 3 people per hour, making 20 to 30 calls per hour. This is also a good metric for when you're making your calls for demos. If you're making 20 to 30 calls per hour, that's an average of 2 minutes a call. That said, it's really like 19 no answers, 2 no's, 4 yeses, and then like 6. I don't know the math on what I'm at right now. I think it's like 3 more, 4 more. Hey, call me backs, right? So personal recruiting is the answer. That is what PRETA stands for. When you go to opening day for those that are invited or those that earn a spot, that's all we talk about at that event is PRETA. She's a beautiful person. And PRETA is personal recruiting is the answer right there at the bottom of the page. Personal recruiting means personal recruits, social media, or campus recruits. We call it FIRE number. So any of those regards to your set number counts for what we're aiming as active recruits, meaning we went out, we did the work, we actually recruited those people. When it comes to these scripts, we do it word for word. We do it step by step. We do not skip steps. When you're in your demo, you get to be yourself. You get to like actually be like who you are with the scripts. Congratulations, Miss Audrey. But when it comes to PR calling, and this is something I'm gonna have Jacob talk about here in a second, like PR calling is very much, I love Parker's analogy. He calls it like making the pizza. And so if you worked at Domino's and on day 1 you show up and they're all excited, they're cuckoo for pizza, right? And they're like, okay, first thing you do is you grab your dough. And then from there, you like flatten it out with this little machine. And then you add, like, you're going to be like, why the heck is this person so crazy about their job? I don't really know if this is for me, right? And so when we're on the phone for a PR call script, we're professional, we're pretty even toned, but we still sound like ourselves. And it's very different than when you're making a sales call. So it's important to sound confident, and that comes from the practice, success, and then also just following the script, okay? Now, it's 3 pages, a 7-minute phone call to be able to schedule somebody. It is the professional version of you, right? It is not the, for instance, when you see Brandon in a sales booth, for those that have seen me actually selling, I am a very different personality than when I'm in manager mode, right? It's 2 different tones, 2 different personalities that come out of me. And it's never ruined somebody's day by taking a 30-second phone call if I did it the right way. And the right way is, hey, Ben. Hey, Ben, this is Brandon Phillips. I work with your friend, Jed Bull. How's your day going?
Day's going great. You work with Jed. Cool.
Yeah. Actually, Jed just started with us this past week, but did he let you know I'd be giving you a call?
Oh, actually, he did. He gave me a text. What's that company? Cutco or something?
Yeah, awesome, man. Do you have a quick minute to talk?
Yeah, I actually do. Let me put down my whiskey shot and I'll go ahead and talk.
That's funny, right? So literally that right there was like 15 seconds. I've never ruined somebody's day with that right there. If we get past that part, cool. Hey, well, Jed just started working with me. He knew that we were looking to fill a few more spots on the team and he's doing great. So I just asked him who he thought would be a good fit. And that's why I'm giving you a call. So don't want to take a lot of your time. Just wanted to kind of get to know you, tell you a little bit about the job. And if everything sounds good from there, we'll set up a time to meet formally for an interview. Cool?
Very cool. And I can tell that that's your scripts because I remember that's literally how the phone call went, minus the whiskey shots.
Minus the whiskey shots, right?
Yeah.
Audrey, you done? Awesome. Good work today, girl. We'll see you tomorrow. So when it comes to making the calls, you have to role play it a lot. All right. Every single recruiting and staff meeting we do role play on the PR scripts. We take different parts and we break it apart. This applies directly to the sales rep job. And what's cool is I asked Jed the other day after he ran his interview, hey, Jed, what was like the thing that you've noticed after running an interview that when you compare it to a sales rep role, like how does it compare? Right. And he's like, well, it's like different, but it's kind of the same. Right. The interview is our demo. The PR call is booking the demo. And that's what's really nice is once you've been a good sales rep, it's easy to be a good manager. You just have to learn that difference in skill of tonality. So when it comes to the intro section, oh man, I actually did not change. I changed the question, but I did not change the slide bottom part. That's my bad. So I'll have this updated for next week. We will. Thank you, Audrey.
Bye.
Drive safe. So I'll just start with the question. And for those that have made PR calls, what is the difference between when you're on the phone and you're actually like trying to talk to a customer, build rapport, and book the demo versus when you're trying to book somebody for an interview?
Tonality.
Elaborate.
So, really, it's like having two different voices. It's when you're talking to a customer, you should be excited, like be excitement in their life. And then when it comes to a PR call, it's, hey, I don't really care in the sense of whether you want the interview or not. I'm here to offer you a job position. Like, you have to impress me.
Yeah, that's a very good point, right? Be impressed, not impressive, is one thing we constantly teach, right? Like, I'm not trying to impress somebody on a PR call. I'm trying to say, hey, so-and-so referred you to a job. They said you might be a good fit. My job's to reach out, try to schedule you for an interview if it's a good fit. Versus actually calling a customer's, hey, Jed. Hey, Jed, this is Brandon Phillips. I'm a friend of Jacob Franklin's. How are you doing today? Right? And I'm actually trying to like make an impression on them. I'm actually trying to be impressive versus impressed. Because if I'm trying to be impressed by a customer, that call is going to be very short-winded because they already don't care who I am. Right? So I have to impress them. So that is a main difference in tonality is on a sales call, you need to be impressive. But when you're in manager mode, when you're booking somebody for an interview, the job is to be impressed. Okay. What else? Jed, Olivia.
When I mess up on the PR script, I do not care. Versus if I'm in a demo, like I'll recover it in a demo better. But on a PR script, it's like as crazy as it is, I'm actually offering you a job. So or the opposite, or the opportunity to get a job. So like you need to get it together over here. Yeah, I mean, if you ain't, I can hang up. It don't bother me.
Right? And why is that? Why can you have that mindset?
Why? Because I'm offering them the opportunity to get a job.
And are there more people to call?
Yep, plenty other people going to do way better than them, anyways. If they got that
Right.
attitude.
And that's just it, right? Like, hey, this may or may not be the fit. My job's to call and schedule you for an interview if you're interested, right? Like the result inside, yeah, we care about it. We want to have a good show percentage, but actually caring about it actually pushes people away. And they're like, oh, well, you're trying too hard, right? Okay.
So if I'm that impressive to these guys, imagine what I can do here.
Right. Okay. And then Olivia, what have you noticed the difference between when you call customers and when you call somebody that you're scheduling for an interview?
It's been so long since I've called a PR. I have no clue. Yeah. I feel like more, I don't know, I feel like more professional whenever I call PRs.
And personally for you, right? Your personal discretion. Which do you enjoy more?
PRs.
Right? And so this goes to speak to the fact that some people are better managers, some people are better at sales. The great thing about this job is it allows you to discover both. And I find that really fascinating that we have a culture where that is accepted, right? So When it comes to making a great PR call, we talk about the 5 basics. When you are in management mode this summer, I will quiz you on these every single time I see you. Because if Parker comes and asks you the question, hey, do you know your 5 basics? And you don't, it doesn't look bad on you. It looks bad on me. And part of being great at your PR call is just knowing these by heart. So number 1 of the 5 basics is following the script. Actually knowing it. And even when I'm calling PRs, like I still keep my script in front of me. Just because if they say something that throws me off, well, I know exactly where I'm at in the script. So it's cool. Like, all right, cool. So, hey, I didn't get to pay. So our base pay is $30 per appointment. That's a guaranteed base pay, regardless of sales, right? And so I'm back in the script. Number 2 is creating urgency. Oh, well, cool. I'm not actually looking for a job till summer. Oh, well, that's actually nice because what we're doing right now is filling interview info sessions so that people can get the information and then discuss with the manager when the best time to start is. Thing is, we work with a lot of people that have other jobs and are students. So it might be a thing where you're exactly right. We get you started in summertime if everything works out. We have a lot of applicants applying right now. Or it might be something where you find that the schedule works better for you and you can actually do this starting earlier than you thought. So we create urgency on every call. Why do they need to meet now versus pushing it off? Number 3 is the build great rapport. Did I put these out of order? Cool. Build great rapport. We want them to be like, oh man, I wasn't actually looking for a job, but this Ben guy that I talked to, like he sounded really cool. Oh, perfect. So when building great rapport on the demo or on the PR call, here's what it looks like. Where do they go to school? What is their major? If they're not in school, what do they do for work? What are they excited for? Did they play sports? Finding out the college level stuff that they do versus the demo being we're finding out how they live their lives, right? Same basic idea, but we're targeting different questions when we go through those questions. The question cycle, number 4. The question cycle is 3 steps. Number 1, that is a great question. You always compliment the question. Even when you say, hey, it's $30 base pay per appointment. So what's really cool, la, 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 la. Hey, what's the pay again? Oh, it's $30 base per appointment. What that just means is regardless of sales performance, our team members are paid $30 for each presentation they do. Number 2, we answer their question, which is what I just did. Or we say, that's a great question for you to be able to ask a manager when you're in your interview. Going back to creating urgency. And then number 3 is you ask them a question. So again, 3 steps to the question cycle. Number 1, that's a great question. Compliment the question. Number 2, we answer their question or say a manager will answer that in the interview. And then number 3, you ask them a question. And then number 5, when it comes to the 5 basics, firm up and directions. Doesn't matter the tempo, the tonality of everything else we did on the call. Your firm up is very, very professional, very concrete. Hey, so Jacob, it looks like you're going to be meeting with Alyssa Lane. She's going to be taking time out of her personal schedule to be able to meet with you. So I just want to confirm 100% that tomorrow, 5:40, that time does work for you.
1000%.
Awesome. Again, my name was Brandon Phillips. It was great catching up with you and getting to know you a little bit. If you have any questions, be able to make sure that you reach out on our office line that you'll get a confirmation text from, just because I don't work all the time. But again, good luck with your interview. And can you do me a favor?
Yeah, what's up?
Can you have a great rest of your day?
Oh, for sure.
We finish every PR call that way. Directions are simply, hey, so we're going to send you a confirmation email. This is part of the PR script too. Actually, I forgot I have this pulled up over here. Yeah, right there, Ben. Ben just shinboned himself. So this is the information, the directions, right? So just some information about your info session. It's going to be held over a platform similar to Zoom. We've designed it to protect our applicants' privacy. It's going to be conducted by our manager, Jacob Franklin. He's awesome. You'll really enjoy meeting with him. And then I've got a couple of instructions and tips just to make sure that you do well and don't have any issues joining the info session. First, attire is business casual. You'll need something to take notes as well. You'll receive an email shortly after we get off the phone with all the information that you need. Your email will also have your private link to join. Just click that link in your email It'll bring you into the info session, and you'll need to make sure that you join using a laptop or a computer with a webcam. Does that all make sense, by the way? And they say yes. Okay. So those are the 5 basics. And if you're doing these on every single PR call, you're going to have people show to the interview because you've done it the right way. You've had the proper tonality. You were impressed, not impressive. You made sure that you gave them good directions for how to show up. They feel like, oh my gosh, Alyssa kind of knows me. Like, okay, like I wasn't interested in a job, but like, I guess I'll show up, right? We handled their questions the right way. And then also we firmed up. You heading out? Yep. You're out safe. So that's what makes a great PR call. I'm going to be sharing the PR script with each of you. So this week, be looking over it. I know some of you already are looking at it / you've been making calls. So take the time this week to start practicing that. And then next week, we're going to all role play the intro section together. So where'd my clicker go? There we go. So when it comes to cooking rapport, now we're switching back into representative mode.
Role playing the intro section next week.
Yes, role playing the intro section next week. Everybody open up your manuals and let's go to page 10.
Oh, it's supposed to have a name on it.
Right, man?
You said that to me.
That's a management statement. Woo! He said
He's
you
my
need
manager. He's my manager.
a...
Don't fire me.
That's funny.
If you do, severance package, please.
He said, please take care of me on the way out. All right, so when you're building cooking rapport, everybody ready? Thumbs up.
What page? Yeah.
Awesome. So page 10, cooking rapport. So when it comes to building cooking rapport, the purpose of this section is to change you from a salesperson to a consultant. From just selling mode to actually consulting on what they do. Selling is projecting what they need or why they need it. We don't have any background details, but oh my God, Mrs. Jones, these knives are amazing. You're going to cut and cook all the time with these knives. It turns out they cook 1 time a week, maybe. Because we were focused on projecting, hey, here's what it could do when we didn't find out the information about it. Consulting is giving solutions to their problems. Hey, Mrs. Jones, have you ever crushed a tomato before? Oh my gosh, you will never crush a tomato again. That is the difference. And if you get really good at consulting and building relationships, like we talked about at the beginning, then your demos are going to naturally fall with bigger sales because you're doing it from the right perspective. Cooking rapport in the demo, we have the general questions. So now before I show you the product line, I'd like to get to know your cooking style just a little bit. First, like, do you even prepare food like because you love to, or that you have to, or you just kind of like to?
Kind of all 3.
Kind of all, so you hate to cook, but like you love to cook?
Well, no, I like to cook. It's just some nights I have the time to put together what I want. Other nights, little Jimmy and Susie have swim practice, so I'm busy and I got to throw something together. And I mean, I have to cook those nights, but when I get the chance to sit down and actually put together something, I love it.
Oh, amen. And that's so cool. That's so cool. So it sounds like you love it when you have the time, have to, whenever it's like, dang it, like I just got to throw something together real quick.
100%. It's just a way for me to get away from troubles of life.
So let me ask you a question, right? Consulting question, right? When it comes to cooking, and when you have to,
Right.
why don't you just end up stopping at like Wendy's or McDonald's or Taco Bell?
Well, I mean, it's cheaper to cook at home. I'm so much better than they are. And the Doritos Locos Tacos recipe has been in my family since 1874. So
Oh,
I just make them at home and it's so much tastier.
you got the Doritos Locos Tacos in the family. I love that.
I'll be here for about 5 minutes.
Don't worry. So what did y'all just learn from that one question?
Ben is really creative.
One, yes, that was great. That was really good, right? Carter.
Saving money is a big thing for them.
Right. Okay. So when I talk about why the features and benefits are going to be important to them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, since you already like know that you have to cook some nights, imagine if like you didn't struggle to cook and you knew that you were saving money, but you enjoyed the experience because you have good knives, right? That gives you one tip. Would you say that you typically prepare food 1 to 3 nights a week, 3 to 5 nights a week, or 4 to 7 nights a week?
I'd probably say 3 to 5 nights a week. Otherwise, we will usually get takeout from our favorite restaurant.
Oh, so not like a cheap restaurant though. Still want quality food.
No, I only shop at the Vault.
Oh, you go to the Vault? I love that place. When did you discover the Vault?
Oh, well, actually, my grandfather's, he's an estate planner in downtown, and he works with the family that owns the Clinarises, who own the Vault.
Yeah.
And I got a tour to go through. I really liked it, and they've always treated me great since. So the food's excellent, and it's an easy way to just get something quick for me and my kids. It's healthy.
So let me ask. So you do buy it for the kids when you go there too?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get them the top shelf stuff, and they certainly get no alcohol, but they end up with a salad or, they've got some good chicken tenders there too.
Okay. Right. I just loaded so many bullets, right? Hey, what if we only ate at the Vault or a fancy restaurant like that one time a week? How much money would we save? Going back to another point that we said. But I call it loading the gun.
Mhm.
I'm not going to fire these bullets right away because again, I'm not trying to pounce on exactly why they need to buy Cutco yet. As I'm doing my demo though, I'll make these small changes and talk about these things. Because if they're ordering from the Vault out, that is a $200 restaurant for 4 people if there's no alcohol involved, right? Like the appetizers will start at $30. The entrees will start at $50 to $70. And again, knowing your restaurants in the area, knowing the places people are talking about. One bonus tip is if somebody drops a restaurant like that and you don't know about it, search it right away. Oh, the Vault? That sounds amazing. You go on your phone real quick, you search for the booth, for the restaurant, and all of a sudden you're like, dang, okay, that place has $4 signs next to it. Yo, Mrs. Jones, when you go there, like, just so, like I can plan date night properly, how much do I need to expect to spend?
Well, Johnny hit a growth spurt recently. It's about, 175. The kids don't eat as much, and my husband can't eat food at all. He just drinks smoothies, so I don't get him anything.
God bless. Well, and I would dive in and talk about why is that a situation with their husband too, right? I would care because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? So we found out they cook 3 to 5 nights a week. I'm loading the bullets in my head. Okay, saving money is important. They spend $200 plus if they take their kids to the Vault and they're doing pickup. They're not even like, oh my goodness, we're actually eating there, right? So when it comes to what are your favorite vegetables, fruits, meats, you do not ask those at the same time. Hey, so what are your favorite vegetables to prepare?
Stephen Hawking.
What is
Actually, eggplant and onions.
eggplant and onions? Okay, cool. Like eggplant all the time? Like,
I make a lot of ratatouille, so really eggplant, zucchini, tomato, and what else? Yellow squash.
okay. So kind of a good assortment of vegetables. I like that. How often do you make ratatouille?
Oh, super easy. Typically 3, 4 times a month.
Very cool. And ratatouille is like a more complex dish. I wouldn't say it's like super easy, but if Mrs. Jones is saying that, I'm gonna agree. Like, oh, cool. Like you must be really good at cooking when you throw down, right? And so now I cannot wait to find out what she uses for knives. When it comes to your favorite fruits, what fruits do you prepare for like your family and stuff?
We do a lot of pears and dragon fruit. We like apples and oranges. A lot of citruses.
What got you turned on to dragon fruit?
I shop at the Asian Mart down the street, and they carry it on the stands. And I figured I'd try it out one day for my husband's smoothies. And then when we tried eating it raw, it was nice, not too powerful of flavor. It's delicious.
Amen. That's cool. I've had it like a couple of times, but it's not like one of my staples. I love to do fruit bowls and stuff, but like it sounds like you have like figured out your fruits. And then what kind of meats are you preparing regularly?
Well, the steak smoothies are a little rough for my husband, but we do a lot of hamburgers. We typically do pork chop. I like to put together lamb chops. We do racks of ribs too. Anything to do with barbecue or broiling.
So you don't discriminate.
No, well, I mean, we're not huge fans of turkeys over here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We really like red meat.
Gotcha. Very cool. Very cool. All right, cool. Well, I guess my last question is simple. What is your favorite meal outside of ratatouille? Because I feel like that might be the answer. What's your favorite meal to prepare for the family?
Personally, love stromboli.
Stromboli. Okay. Do you make like your own pasta fresh or like how does that work?
Oh, well, I don't always make my own pasta, but typically what I'll do is I'll put together the dishes and prep everything the night before. And that way some of the stuff can marinate and it can all sit together. And then I'll make the dough, the same night and then put everything together, and it's something I can stick in the oven after an easy egg wash.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Mrs. Lorton. I really appreciate the information. And with that, I'm going to start by showing you one of the most popular tools in our set. It's called the Super Shears.
What?
So here's my question for everybody.
He got a pen.
How many bullets did we just gather that we get to use later for sales points?
Enough to power a Gatling gun.
Amen, right? Let's name out specific ones. So I'll start it. We like to save money. What else?
They're willing to spend money.
They're willing to spend money on quality. What else?
Kids.
They have kids, right? That they want also to eat healthy. What else?
She enjoys cooking.
She loves cooking. She like truly takes the time to really prep out dishes. It's just sometimes I'm rushed. What else? What'd you say, Ben?
Husband has dietary issues.
Correct. Husband has dietary issues, which means more often than not, if she is going to the vault and buying meals for them, she's then going home and then blending the meal for the dad. Right? Again, that's a crazy bullet point, but that's like a real story that like can happen.
Sure.
Right? What else did we get? We have 5 so far.
When you're talking about the needs and uses for the knives, you have exact things that you know they're gonna cut with them.
Names and uses section. I actually can talk about what they would use it for versus generalities. What else? There's like at least 3 more in there.
I know what I said.
Mm-hmm. Jed, what'd you hear?
All around the top.
I realize that I don't know what goes in Stromboli.
Right? And again, that's the same thing. Stromboli. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Oh, that's Stromboli. Oh man. When are you making it again?
Saturday.
Can I come back? Right? Again, rapport question. Building that rapport. From there, what else did we get? Thinking about how rushed she is.
How what?
How rushed. She's a busy person, right? She wants the job done efficiently as possible, as quickly as possible. Anything else that we learned? There's one glaring one that still hasn't been talked about.
What about the right food?
It goes back to saving money. This is one of my favorite closes. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you said that you're going to the vault 1 to 2 times a week. Truly because it's like last minute, you need to like grab something. How much money would you save a week if you only went to the vault once a week? Because cooking was a lot easier. And you could actually meal prep meals because it didn't take as long. So you could actually have 2 meals knocked out in one night, prepped and ready to go. Versus like, oh crap, like, oh, struggling through the knives. Like now it took me longer to chop up my stuff. So I was only able to meal prep 1 meal a night. Back to the question, how much money would you save in a week if you ate out one less time at the vault?
$200.
So over the course of the month, that's $800.
Sounds like I could afford a set.
So they don't say it that way, but yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of my favorite closes for people that like to eat out or people that eat out a lot or eat out because of convenience factors. I'll literally say, hey, like one of the things that you said you love is to save money. So when it comes down to it, Mrs. Jones, if you were to eat out 1 less time per week, wouldn't that save you a ton of money like going forward? So it sounds like you buying Cutco or you not buying Cutco would actually cost you more money than it would like cost you to buy the set. So like, did you like that in Classic or Pearl? This was a really cool role play. Ben, good job. Little round of applause for Mrs. Lorton. That was dope, right? And I would strongly encourage going back in the recording when I get this up and just listening to that section again, because that was really, really good role play on his end. Gave me a lot to be able to feed on as cooking report, right? So know the scripts, but also get really good at the follow-up questions too. And you're going to get really good at building your cooking rapport. So I've got one thing left, making your virtuals more fun. So 2 instructions for each of you to do. First, go to bit.ly/BP goal sharing on your computer. bit.ly/BP goal sharing on your computer.
Right now?
Ideally. That or just make sure that you have the bit.ly written down and have the instructions written down. You can also take a screenshot of this slide. I didn't say snapshot. Ha! That's to you, Olivia. What's up? So once you are there, you're going to make a copy of that slideshow. And that is going to give you a basic idea of what to do to make your own personal goal sharing slides. You then go to discovercutco.com, which is your presentation website, right? Your slideshow for the presentation. You then make a copy of that one. From there, you literally add them together. And now you're able to have your own presentation slides lead into the demo. And you're able to actually goal share from a place of like, oh, okay, here's my happy customers. Here's where I'm at for my goals, Mrs. Jones. Here's what I'm actually working hard for. Versus just talking about it. Who knows somebody that is much better visually than just auditorily. Right. Okay. And so this is going to give you the tools to be able to goal share. So I got 5 tips and we're done. Make sure that you have this done in the next 24 hours and then share your new presentation slide with me at 865knifeknox@gmail.com. I want to see these new presentation slides when you have them updated. 24 hours to do that. Even if you're on recording, you still have 24 hours to get that done. Same 24 hours.
What's it gonna take a little longer than
Give me the basic outline, share it with me. I'll see it as you update it. Great question. So again, bit.ly/BP goal sharing. Make a copy of that slideshow, then go to discovercutco.com and make a copy of that slideshow and combine the two. So 5 tips for building your virtual demo. Number 1 is research. Proper prospecting is doing research on your clients and knowing them before you actually meet them. If your demo takes, I like to use like a 10% to 15% metric on time. If your demo is going to take an hour, you need to take about 5 to 10 minutes to actually look up your client. Who are they? What do they do? Oh, there's pictures of their family. I have a guy that I haven't met with yet from the sales career fair that Jacob, Jed, and I went to, and he's just been sick. But we're already friends on Facebook. Brandon DeCorado from the SFG, Senior Financial Group. Yeah.
I was like, I thought it was Malcolm.
Yeah, no. But that's what's really cool is like we've already added each other on Facebook. So I know now his wife, I know that he has a little girl. Like I know this guy already outside of like, hey, we met at a career fair and we're just like hanging out for the first time. Right. So do research, prospect your clients. If you do the research and you show up with like, hey, so dude, I saw that you do this. Like, dude, like, I just want to know, how'd you get into that? They're not going to take that as you stalk them. They're going to take that as you actually did research on them to make sure that when you talk to them, you're not wasting their time. And that's a big key, especially when you start working with the upper echelon of people. Know your people before you call them. Know your people before you do a demo with them, right? And do not do this during phone time. Don't do this during phone time. Phone time is for, that's it. Do this before. When you're making your list, when you're actually going through and you're doing, okay, cool, I'm calling these 20 people this week. Do your research on them. Because like, even if Mrs. Jones didn't tell you anything about the person that she referred, well, you did your research. Oh, I heard like you've actually like been one of the best teachers here at West High School in Knoxville. Oh, I mean, yeah, like they did a whole little banquet and award ceremony. But anyways, yeah, you said Stacy told you to call me? Yeah. Me and Stacy were just hanging out. She said you were really awesome. Obviously, like that holds true. But she just said you were really nice and would be willing to help me out with something. Do you have a quick minute? All of a sudden, bam, because you did the research, that call is going to go so much smoother. You already know who they are, right? Number 2, and side note to number 1, sometimes, is it a waste of time?
Yeah.
It could be, right? It could be 5 minutes that you invested doing research on this person that like, cool, I didn't even actually book a demo with them. But on the off chance you run into them in person, now you know their face. They weren't just a number. And now you can actually connect with them. Hey, oh my gosh, like it's so good to actually see you in person. Like I'm the guy that actually called you for a Cutco demo. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Actually, like Stacy showed me your picture, so like I kind of knew who you were ahead of time. Ben.
One of the things I got from my other sales job, which you can nix if you don't like it, is there you may have wastes of time, but it's never a waste of effort going through those steps. Even if you don't get anything from that one, you can pull up somebody else and all of a sudden you've got a Sequoia Hills restaurant owner who you now know what to look for and how to break down their profile faster because you took the time even with people who may not have as much.
Yes. Simply said, everything's for practice. Even if it didn't work out, you still built the skill. You got a little bit better. And 1% better over a year, that's 365% improvement. You're 3.5 times better than when you started the year if you're doing it every day. Number 2, fun. I talk about this all the time, but put yourself in a great place. All right. Make sure that you're going into demos in a great mood. And if you're not in a great mood, okay, can you take 2 minutes real quick to call somebody that you love and you can just love on them? Right. That's one of my favorite things is when you're just in a bad mood, bad day, it's very hard to show appreciation and gratitude towards somebody and keep that same mindset. So if you're like, oh man, you know what? I haven't loved on grandma in a minute. Let me just call grandma. Hey, grandma, how you doing? Oh my God. I know it's been a week since we've talked. I just want to say like how much I appreciate you. Thank you for being a mentor and a role model for me. Like I want to go ahead and get some time, but I just want to give you a quick call just to say that. So I love you. Have a great day. It's very hard to go into your appointment with a bad energy if you just called grandma and we're like, hey, I appreciate you and I love you. Right. So for some, it's calling the girlfriend, calling your best friend. Some it's listening to music. Some it's like Raymond doing push-ups, right? Whatever that is, do it before your demo. Put yourself in a great space. Number 3, lots of rapport. I always talk about trying to become the niece that they never, or niece or nephew that they never had, right? Treat them like your favorite uncle or aunt. For me, it's, and I hope my family doesn't actually watch the recording. That'd be crazy. But it's Uncle Randy. Because growing up, he was the uncle that like, if I like was doing something I knew Dad wouldn't approve, hey, I'm staying at Uncle Randy's house and all of a sudden like I can do whatever I want. Right? He was my favorite uncle. He was the coolest uncle. Like we had the most fun together. So whoever that person is for you, that is your favorite person, treat them like that person. Look for the commonalities. And all of a sudden, you're going to naturally bring the energy on your demo. But you have to, number 4, actually bring the energy. Zoom calls are not as fun as being in person. That's why for key staff meetings, I don't mind if you come in person or you hop on Zoom, but like I would much rather have an in-person key staff, right? Ben's waving at the camera. But notice that when I do these talks, I'm not just like, all right, guys, bring the energy. Because then y'all would like not show up to next week's key staff meeting because I'm not delivering. Okay. So proper perspective, you're going to get a great relationship from it. You're going to get money when they make a purchase or not because you get a base pay, and you're going to build the skills. And a lot of you say that you're here to build the skills. So if that's true, don't do anything half effort. Make sure that you're giving it all every single time. And all of a sudden the skills are going to get better. And number 5, don't allow the lull moments in your demo. There's the dead space between, hey, I'm not doing my job if I don't ask you, but would you like to go ahead and get your set today and get your free gifts? Outside of that dead space, you want to fill as much of it as you can. You also want to make sure that if you notice them getting distracted, I always ask the question, hey, Mrs. Jones, you need to take care of that real quick? It's one of my favorite questions to ask because sometimes they'll say yes and they'll actually appreciate that you're giving them space to be able to do that. And then other times they'll just check back in. Oh, hey, no, it's not important. Like, hey, go play with your toy. All right, cool. No, you've got my attention again. So if you follow these steps, if you actually go through, make your personal slide goal for sharing. If you go through and you create that demo, you make it one whole slideshow so you don't have to transition back and forth. If you make sure that you do your research before the demo, you have fun, you make sure you build lots of rapport on your demo, treating them like the person that you love most in your life, that's your favorite influence. You bring the energy, and then you don't allow lull moments in your demos. All of a sudden, you're going to have more fun on your virtuals. Yes, sir.
What about when I ask for the sale? What about that pause?
I just gave that example. That is the only lull that we let exist. Okay. So that said, any questions on any of the material that I've covered about making virtual demos more fun, going into cooking rapport, or anything with PR calls? So we're all ready to go create our own presentation slides. We're going to go crush our next demos virtually. We're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, Carter, remember you got a demo with me at 11:30 tomorrow.
I recommend you record that and I'll put it on the YouTube. I'm just kidding. I won't put it on the YouTube, but I'll
I
watch
got you, Mrs. Jones.
it. That's great. All right. So that said, again, going back to our quote, focus on key relationships. The sales will come naturally. Have a lot of fun building rapport. All of a sudden, your customers are going to be your friends. You're going to have a relationship with them. If you focus on sales, you'll end up having transactional relationships where they buy from you maybe one time, maybe they don't. But it's that one-time occurrence. You'll never hear from them again. So everybody, again, my name's Brandon Phillips. I'm with the 86 Knife Knox. We're going to do $1 million this year in CPO, and it's going to start with this team right here.
Damn.
So I'm going to stop the recording. And then if you have any extra questions, of course, reach out. Again, if you're on recording watching this, make sure that you get the feedback to us in the next 24 hours. Send your notes to 865knifeknox@gmail.com. By the way, for anybody that's wanting the slides, I'm going to make a separate Excel sheet because I have one that's in my executive hub right now. But I'm going to make a separate one, allow that to be shared. That way you can always see the links where the YouTube video is. You can also just go to 865 Knife Knox on YouTube, and then you'll be able to see all the key staff meetings. All that to say, I keep the slides link in the description on YouTube. So that way, if you want to go back and get the slides, you can do that too. Everybody, it's been a fun key staff meeting. Hope you took something valuable. Let me stop this recording.
Olivia, how did the surgery go?